All right, welcome to the BMI Podcast, guys. Today we have Trent Campbell with us. Just one of the bros I met through the gym, and we've got to talking a few times, and I was like, fuck, you know what, we spin a good yarn. Let's get you onto the podcast, bro.
No, blessed to be here, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming by, bro.
Yeah.
So pretty much we can just shoot the shit. Maybe you give everyone a little bit of a background on yourself, tell them what you're up to, and then we can just go from there. I've got a couple questions, but maybe just ones that if we come to a point where we're like, okay, what should we talk about now? But yeah.
Trent, I'm 23 years old, man. So born in Auckland, moved to Hamilton in 09, so I was about 6-7 years old back then. And then he's actually born on the Cook Islands, so he's from there. And then mum's just a Kiwi girl, bro. But yeah, cool growing up. I don't really remember Auckland too much, but Hamilton's been pretty sweet. And then at the moment, sort of work's not the main focus for me, but I do work in banking, and like super grateful to be in, I guess, a good role like that. I'm 23, and I see stuff that other 23-year-olds, they're probably maybe driving a forklift or something. So
yeah, well, you're close to like people that are doing big things, right? Like even if you're not right next to them, you can probably actually get close enough to maybe ask questions, right?
And you see it, bro. Like CEO rolls in, and you see how they carry themselves a bit differently. You know, they're, as you do when you've gone through stuff, it kind of refines you, and you sort of see someone and they have it. So yeah, that's sort of my bread and butter. But then like really passionate about the entrepreneurial space and how that can bless other people long term. So always looking, hey, how can I diversify, get ahead, but also learning from my mentor. I've got a lot of respect for him, bro, and he's changed my life. So got to throw him some thanks, bro.
Oh, cool,
Yeah.
Like because 23, you said
23.
23. You're young, bro.
Yeah.
10. I got a decade on you.
Yeah.
So and that's why I thought it would be good to get you on, because you're a young man in that journey, and you're already thinking ahead of what maybe people start thinking around in the late 20s. They try to go, okay, like I've had my fun, all of that sort of stuff, and maybe I'll start thinking about what I want to do next. Whereas I think you having your head screwed on at a bit of a younger age, it can be your benefit. Your mentor will probably tell you that as well. And like I started when I was really young. I was like 20 when I bought my first place, and like having that as a head start and just sort of putting your head down and knuckling down, you end up lapping people like chronically when you get to those late 30s, and they start making the decisions you're making right now at 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that old the compound effect, eh? I don't know if you've read that one by Darren Hardy, but it's the old, like you double a penny every day. What does it turn into in the 30 days? I think it's like millions or billions of dollars or something.
Just over like, something like 1 point something. Oh, it was quite a bit, eh? Because I remember there was like the offers like $1 million or a penny that doubles every day for 30 days. And everyone's like, I'll take the million. And I saw it was like 10 million or something. Yeah, it's quite high.
I think if you double the penny, even at day 15, it's like not that much.
Yeah.
But as you get to that sort of back end, it's like that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
So, definitely, like, you're right. Being young and sort of thinking this way, I probably don't realize that until I'm back around a crowd my age, but I'm like, man, I am doing some good stuff.
Yeah.
We talked about this with Tall Poppy. Like,
we were talking earlier on about Tall Poppy, how New Zealand has that problem. And I've had multiple other podcasts with my other co-host, my mate that I have on often. And it's a thing. He's in business as well, and you feel it, or whether we're self-censoring, I don't know, but there is that sort of that present of that tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand, and you probably can agree. Like that's why I'm trying to do this. We gotta get rid of that shit. We need to, big everyone up. I think it doesn't help having a country of losers maybe, or whatever, or not cheering for others, like it shouldn't be able to affect you. If it doesn't affect you, you should cheer for them. I don't know why people, crabs in a bucket trying to pull you back down, Yeah.
It's like, it's a net positive, bro. You cheer someone on, they do better.
Yeah.
You're a part of that.
Yeah.
Like, man.
So how did you meet your mentor?
I was thin threads, man. I was, I'll probably go back in the story a wee bit. When I was back in high school, maybe year 9 or 10, I was like thinking uni. And I remember I did level 1 a year early. I was year 10, and I got my results back, and I studied hard, bro. And I thought I did everything I needed to get the top marks, and I got it back, and it was like sort of like a B or a merit, as we call it. And I didn't like the idea of I can do everything in my control, but if something on a paper says this, like that's what it is. Like and obviously you can't control everything in life, but I think I don't know, that kind of imprinted something in me where I was like, I don't know if the school thing is for me. And I think my last year of high school was COVID year,
Oh, true.
which was like pretty buzzy, but we had probably
Hard
a
out.
good 6 to 8 week stints of just, you do homework at home, which I didn't do.
Yeah.
But I was like, ways to make money, how to improve your mindset, blah, blah, blah. And I was hearing, you know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad at the time. So I was always sort of thinking and looking. I knew, okay, investments or having a business of your own that can tick over is the thing.
Yep.
You know, you can't work a job and get ahead.
That was the
you know?
first ever book I ever wrote from start to finish in my life.
Yeah.
I never read a book through high school from start to finish,
Yeah.
ever. And I literally might have been 19 and I read that book and I was like, fuck, this is on. Like,
I was 18, so
Yeah.
similar thing.
yeah,
But,
and it also, it does just get you thinking, right?
and then, make a long story short, I got back from overseas at one stage. I was sort of always looking for ways to get ahead, and I got a random phone call to go play at Hotapu Rugby Club, bro. So Jackson Willison, who was coaching at the time, he was mutual friends of my uncle. And when I was there, I met a bloke that I could see was a bit more switched on and moving in the right direction. And I don't know if you know what rugby culture's like, but it's, you know, on the booze, who's reading who, like all of that sort of carry on. And so when I saw old mate was sort of a bit more humble, but had a good head on him, I was like, man, what's he up to?
Yep.
And then sort of long story short, he was getting a nudge in the right direction, and the rest is history from there. Then he connected me to who's now mentoring me.
Oh, cool.
So
cool.
just a cool situation, man.
Yeah. Lucky, you know, like not lucky more you're looking for it. But and that's how I also think of luck. I've been lucky many of times, but I think anyone can be lucky if you've got your door open and you're looking for those opportunities. And like you're sort of saying, you probably picked up on something that every single one of your team members were in the same team. They saw the same person, but none of them did anything, or none of them asked a question.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's where I think there's a lot of people that go around going, oh, you know, must be nice, lucky, maybe that tall poppies thing, because they all know that they didn't look for those opportunities. Have you seen that Tony Robbins one where he does it with Theo Von, like look around the room, see anything with yellow, and then he points out the things, and then he goes, okay, now show me what you look, show me what was red, and then close your eyes, show me what was red, and he goes, oh, I can't remember. He goes, exactly, because you were looking for the yellow, and that's how life works. So if you're always looking for opportunity will always arise.
Yeah.
And that's sort of that mindset, and like you're huge on mindset. That's why I think you probably found your mentor, because you're looking for him.
I agree, man. Like answers are reserved for the seekers. If you're looking, then you shall find.
Yeah.
You know, and like your dominating thoughts kind of present itself in your life, man. So what are you thinking about? You're going to see it.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. Yeah.
True. So what do you, I guess you're more leaning into social media. Is that what you think your avenue is going to be, your future? Or you kind of, like when I talk to you, you're not that you're it's halfway out the door in banking, but you're understanding that that's your stepping point and you want to move to something else. What are you thinking there?
Yeah. So like social media is a part of it, because I think like attention is a massive currency in today's world. So like, you know this.
Yep.
So the social media stuff I do isn't so much business related, but it's just how can I add value to people, because I genuinely get a kick out of that. And I love that sort of stuff, you know. But for me in the business space, it's more so like a massive industry to unpack, but product automation and distribution.
Yep.
And so you probably heard like supply chains or e-commerce thrown around before. But I guess when I got privy to that idea, it was really powerful. Two things is, one, if you can tap into the right infrastructure, you instantly get access to a global market. But the other thing is, it's one of those, like a lot of industries are changing, but if you can sort of leverage the right systems and the right people, you can start to limit and cap those overheads in a really powerful way. So don't want to get into too much jargon for the listeners, and sort of want to respect what I'm doing, but that's kind of like a rundown, bro.
Yeah, cool. Like, so I guess, I got a question here, like, have you ever had a role model that you looked up to when you were growing up, or is it sort of when you've come to the late teen years, it sort of started to become apparent that you were like, shit, there's so much more to this than following the beaten path, you know?
That's a good question, man. I think for me, like a lot of people point to their dad, and I do too, but I didn't realize that until later in life.
It's funny, eh? Like a lot of people don't have as much appreciation for for fathers, because they tend to be harder.
Yeah.
I'm guessing here.
Yeah.
You know,
On the money.
they tend to be harder on them, and you think that they fucking don't like you or something, you know, like, or it's actually the opposite. They care about you so much, they see more within you, right?
I think, like we were saying before, I was the youngest of 4 siblings, so I'm the 5th. Sorry, I'm the youngest one, but because I was my dad's only boy, it was like, you know, he's gonna.
You're the namesake, bro.
Yeah, bro. So, but man, like, I believe people are doing the best with what they know. And when I now know what my dad knew and what he was doing with what he knew, it's like, man, I don't know if I could have done or got into where he's at. So, yeah, I'd say in hindsight, my dad's been a massive sort of role model for me. I'd say my mentor for sure, like a real good stand-up, solid dude. And then for myself, being faith-driven, like I always look to God and I look to Jesus, man. Like I've got to be honest, it's a big thing for me.
Yeah.
And when I open up the book that I believe in every day, I see here's a guy who lived with love and integrity, and that's what I need to do in my life. So that's, heaps of other people I could throw out there, like you got the Michael Jordans or whatnot. But
well, rugby or something like that, man. For you, for rugby when you were younger. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, like it's cool to hear people talk about their fathers. I feel like we're in a day where, I don't know, like this might be a bit taboo, but it's the thing is where people are pushing like families apart at the moment. And I see there is this huge division between men and women, and like what a role a father plays in a man's life. You know, I'm just speaking from me as a man with that experience and seeing a lot of my mates. And I think it's one of the hugest blessings is me having my father. Mum and dad still together, but like having my dad there, he's my guy that I actually look to, and I admire him for how hard he works. But I've got a bit of a weird situation. He's always been a hard worker, but never worked smart. So like, probably like with you, I've taken what I can learn from dad, and I go, okay, like you said, that's all he knows. He's done as good as he can with what he knows. It's up to me to go beyond that and level up past that and expand my knowledge. And that's where I think, and now I'm helping him out, which is quite a cool little full circle event for us. But yeah, that's just, it's cool to hear that, you know.
Well, what do you reckon's the biggest lesson your dad's taught you?
I don't competition, bro. So I grew up playing sport, and probably you might be able to relate in the sense that it's quite a weird scenario because I've got a brother and we both grew up exactly the same, and we're both totally opposite people, and he's taken a more of a chillax, cruise your life, not really, he's all blasé, and I kind of look at it, it's how we both responded differently to my dad. So we got the same treatment. It was like, fucking go, you suck, you can do better, like properly like up our ass, like you can do better, like pushing us to the limit. And for me, I was just like, fuck you, I'll show you. And for him, he was just like, fuck you, I won't bother. That's like, it's quite weird to be now when I'm 33. Me and my brother are still close, but fuck, if you met him, you'd be like, what? Like, trust me, like everyone goes, that's your brother? Like,
interesting how the same thing can go two ways for two different people, eh? Not that it's good or bad, but it's just really, like, I've always thought about that. That's
well, like, have you heard the story about like the two sons that had an alcoholic father, and they go, and one became super successful and one became the alcoholic, and then they ask both of them, they go, well, how come you ended up the way you ended up? And they both had the same answer. Well, because my dad was an alcoholic. And then the successful one was because my dad was an alcoholic. I didn't want to be like him. The other guy blamed him and became him. So it's sort of kind of it's up to you to make that decision on how you deal with the shit. So I feel like everyone has some sort of shit. Some people are blessed and don't have that, but very few don't.
The brown stuff doesn't discriminate, bro. It'll hit you with whatever you are, man or woman. You know?
Exactly, so. Bro. Yeah, and it's kind of, that's where you can make that decision. And I don't know whether you can relate at a certain point, or you know someone as well that you were fucking boys with, buddies, and then they make the wrong decision, totally different path. You know, I've got a few of those friends, you know, from when I was younger, cousins, you know.
100%, bro. 100%. And even you can probably say the same about looking at your life. I can see moments where I'm like, man, that could have gone off the rails, but it didn't, you know, and I'm grateful that I chose the right path and I had good people around me. But yeah, man, it's thin thread sometimes, man. It's tipping points, and just if you fall on the right side of it, then how good.
Yeah, well, and I don't think it's I think it's a growth thing forever. Like I'm only in the middle of my journey, and I don't think you got to always be making the right decision, or the time gets tough. You can choose the lazy route. I'm constantly battling with that for myself. Like, when is enough? I get people telling me to slow down. I get it all too often, and it's quite hard to trust myself and actually go, nah, and block them out, because I am tired. I would like to slow down, but I don't think I should slow down.
Yeah.
And I have to trust myself and have to block them out. And I know they're saying it for the trying to look out for me aspect, but it doesn't help me.
See, it's coming from a different context, but maybe not the right context. Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, and that's what I have to do. And once you sort of, I guess, get your mindset going, and you have the ability to kind of go, yeah, thanks, appreciate it. And they actually are saying it from love.
Yeah.
They do go, man, it's because they're almost projecting. They're like, fuck, oh, I can do that. It's like, well, it's hard, but I'm enjoying it. And I keep telling them that, then it's enjoyable 90% of the time. Yeah. So you talk about mindset quite a lot. Like, did your mentor get you into mindset and reading, or you were sort of down that path already? You talked about doing Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but...
Yeah, I think I was already looking, bro. I think I always recognized that there was something powerful about the mind. Like I used to do athletics when I was sort of early to mid-teens.
Yeah.
And it was pretty embarrassing, bro, but when I started out, I was probably 10, 11 years old. And I had a coach who was training me, and I trained with these two girls that were about my age, bro. And
that's quite late, hey, for athletics.
Yeah, well, it can be. Like, I think most kids probably, if they're serious about it, around maybe 10 years old, they might start, getting a coach.
Cool.
I was about 10, 11, but yeah, these two girls my age, bro, they used to smoke me. Like, it was embarrassing, man.
Humbling.
It was, and even, like, on a footy field, like, I was pretty quick, but as soon as I got into, like, the specialized elite arena of athletics, I was like, bro, people were pumping me.
Yeah.
And I remember my mentor always said, like, my coach at the time, he said, like, don't compare yourself to others. And he always spoke life into, this is what you're going to be doing and this is how you're going to be.
Yeah.
And he was big on visualization, bro. So
oh, awesome.
I used to run 400 meters. That was like my specialist event. And he really drilled in and got big on, like, that's once around the athletics track for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah.
And the way he taught it is, like, 400 is basically a sprint the whole way. But he's like, you go out as hard as you can, you carry that over the back straight, you dig into that second corner, and you just give it everything you've got on the home straight. And I used to, I'd close my eyes and visualize myself going around that track. How do I feel?
That pain.
Yep. The smell of the track, like a bit of a gust of breeze, whatever it was. And I'd sometimes, this is how pedantic I'd get it, I'd set a timer on my phone, close the eyes, get through it. And if that timer went, like, I might have set it for a 51 second, if that's what I was trying to hit.
Yeah.
If I didn't hit it, I'd visualize again. Like, I want to get that right.
Yeah, cool.
And there were some things I couldn't really explain where I was injured, and like I had this past of not being anything special at athletics, but just with a bit of grind, but also this visualization piece maybe 2 years later. And like, I'd hit that home straight and everyone would just like drop off and I'm still going. And there was something funny where, like, I didn't have that kick because I couldn't train. I don't know where it came from. You could say it was God, but I think visualization was really important too, man. Like, you see it in your mind and it flows out in a different way.
You almost you've reenacted it that many times. Your body believed it and jumped into it. And then it remembered you pushing through when you were visualizing it, right? And then, so then you actually, your mind kicked it into gear. That's interesting. Because I'm huge on it. And I kind of try to bring it into light, but it's really hard to explain to people. Yeah. And you just sound like a fucking wacko. Yeah. You're just like, I'm sitting there driving my car. I think about feeling that Lamborghini fucking suede. Like,
yeah, you hear the roar and all that sort of stuff.
Everything, man. Yeah. Like, and I'll tell you something crazy about visualizing. Every single thing that I've visualized has actually come true, or if not sooner than I had already visualized in my head, which is a thing that and it's funny because I've had my mate that you met, and when you turned up, Evan, I've known him since I was 4 years old, bro. and he's heard me say this shit, and he's watched me go through this, and he's just like, what the fuck? Like, I remember you saying that, and that's why I started this podcast, because I like to put it out in the universe. And we were Judith was listening to another podcast the other day, and she's like, I remember you were talking about fucking hiring 3 staff. Now we have 6, and like it's all happening. Yeah,
it's big, bro. There's something cool out there, man. Like Napoleon, I don't know if you've read much of Napoleon Hill stuff, but he's really into that sort of. He just breaks it down and whatnot. I'm a big believer. Spoken word. What are you seeing?
Yeah,
it's massive.
Yeah, language is huge. Well, I've been to a few seminars and whatnot, and all of those events. Man, it's almost 90% of them always talk about the language, right? And your inner monologue, like the way you talk about yourself, or the way you talk to yourself in your head, the words you speak out to others, especially like and more so in the sense of them talking down on themselves, like, no, I can't do that. Like when I hear Judith say that, I'm trying to get her to change her language. I was like, don't say that. Like, you can do that. And even if you don't think you can, tell yourself you can do that, and your brain will believe you. Like, that's how it works.
Yeah, that's big, eh? The power of the subconscious mind.
Yeah. I actually think Conor McGregor is quite a good one for those out there who thinks he's a bit of a fucking cokehead now. Yeah. Yes, he is. But guess what? He dreamed of being that cokehead.
There was an interview when I think it was before his second fight with Dustin. Yeah, with Dustin, I'm pretty sure. And whoever it was interviewed him, and he said, this is what you said X amount of years ago, and he just rattled it off line for line, and you can just see Conor with this massive grin, because he's like, here it is. I spoke it.
Well, I watched that video. It was one of, he was fighting in the Irish League, and he was saying, I'm going to the UFC, I'm going to be a double champ. And then they're like, double champ? There was no such thing back then. He's like, I don't care, I'm going to be the first double champ, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, what the fuck? Yeah. This dude is on. And he's right, and it was sad to see him fall off. He was a guy that I had like a lot of respect. I loved the chat, but I actually really loved his mentality. And that's why once he got that 100 mil, he was just like, done.
Yeah.
Like you have to be from his kind of background to sign up to get punched in the face on a regular basis. Yeah. And when you got that 100 mil, like, you're like, why the fuck? I'm on my way to Billy. Why the hell am I getting punched in the face for a living?
I think the Aldo fight was the other one, eh? Where he said in the interview, I could feel his left hand tensing up.
Yeah, that was
bro,
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he said it, but then they released the fucking footage of him warming up in the bloody locker room, literally just doing that. And I was just like, what the hell? He's actually visualized it, did the exact same move, whoop, whoop, and just like knocked him out.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But, it's probably like you were sort of saying with the track. Like I'm quite surprised yet. That's cool to hear that there's actually someone out there pushing that to like young minds, eh?
Yeah. No, Chris, my athletics coach, there's a bloke called Linford Christie who was a massive sprinter in the 90s. He ran for GB, Great Britain, and Chris learned a thing or two from him. Went over to Jamaica as well and saw how they coached and trained, and he studied sports psychology himself, I believe it was, and he just poured that into us. And again, it's like, how many of us are in the same training group with the same opportunity? But who was looking?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It's funny because I caught up with one of the bros. He's in property as well, and he's from Auckland. And I actually only knew him through social media, and we finally caught up today. And it's weird. You see a lot of people come from sports background. You don't even have to be a high achiever. It's more just the habits that you pick up from giving it your all at something. And a lot of people that come from sports that actually are quite competitive or develop that competitive mindset tend to transfer it over to business quite well. You probably even seen, like, with all of these influencers, they always go, like, get in the best shape of your life, you'll be able to fucking do well in business because you can be diligent, you can follow a plan, you can have delayed gratification, that you're still sculpting your body, and it takes time, building that callous mind of, fuck, it's going to take a while, and just pushing through. And that's what I think it takes to make it in business.
Yeah. I think, success leaves clues, and it doesn't matter what industry or area you're from. Like, I look at athletics, and for 2 odd years I was training hard yakka and just not seeing the results. And all of a sudden that third year, after a bit more hard yakka, that's when it came to be. And cool. I just used that in the gym, in business, and whatever it is in life. And I was like, I'm going to figure this thing out. I figured it out before. If I've done it once, I can do it again.
Yeah, well, like I said to you before, like you're younger, you're actually starting on the health before me. I went and did the reverse. I became a fat bastard, and then I was like, fuck. And I thought I was the man, but that was actually the main thing that was holding me back. Then I got my health into check, and it's part of why I call it body, mind, and integrity, is because, you know, my body always comes first. And I've informed my partner, and I've told her time and time again, I was like, I will put my health first, because if I'm unhealthy, I can't look after you, mum, dad, anyone, you know. If I can't look after myself, you know, health is huge. And I think it's good for longevity. And a lot of people don't, what do they say? It's like, health's your last thing on your mind until it's the only thing on your mind. When your fucking health is gone, it becomes your only problem.
Yep.
You know, like it can be a problem in the background just floating there until literally knocking on your door. It's the only thing you think about. You don't think about work when you're going for fucking cancer or anything like that. No one's thinking about that stuff. They're thinking about surviving that.
Yeah, did you ever wake up call on that journey?
Mine was just fucking huge, bro. And for me, it was, I don't know, like it was weird too, because I had a weird one where I didn't actually look at myself in the mirror. I was 130 kgs, like only 6 foot. You know, that's big boy.
And put him in the front row, mate.
big boy. Nah, fuck. I didn't even play rugby there. Like that's what's crazy. And I used to be an athlete when I was younger. And I think it was after taking a year off after I built this development, I didn't work, and I just really I don't know, like it was an ego thing. I thought I was a man, and then I kind of had to look myself in the mirror and go, bro, like you ain't the man. No woman wants you. Like, you know, you're out of shape. And why would a woman want you in this state? And I had to tell myself and like pull it back in. I always knew that I had the business mind or like mentality, but did I? If I let myself get to that point, you know, I'm probably a bit hard on myself, and some people might say that, but I don't care. That fucking person's gone now, and he's never coming back. And I never was depressed or anything, but it was more just like, fuck. You used to play table tennis for New Zealand. You used to fucking be the man. You fucking went into property, you did this, but then you let yourself go. And that's why I started this, so I can get in someone's ear and try and actually make them think the success early isn't actually the most important. It's building that foundation, and then you can skyrocket, I think.
Yeah, I ditto that big time, bro.
Yeah. And it's hard for people because you justify to yourself, oh yeah, I've got success in some areas, but it doesn't matter in my opinion. That's my opinion now. I would have traded half of my success now to like keep going and stay fit when I had that momentum. I kind of fell into the momentum, thought I was the man, had a property at 20, was doing a development at 22, you know, like doing this, had 2 properties at 23. You know, like it wasn't good for me in that sense. And I think I wouldn't change anything because I'm now levels better and I regain my momentum and I've learnt a lot from all of that. I would change it if I actually could go, hey, and give myself the same knowledge. But like, bro, don't do that. Yeah.
Neat, man.
So how has the social media been going? You were saying that you're kind of trying to help people in that way. Like I had a quick little gaze at what you're up to, and it seems to be quite a lot faith driven. You know, do you want to talk about?
Yeah, but we can go hard, man. So, yeah, man, a big part of my journey, like prior to finding my faith and being a Christian, is I was just living life and thinking whatever it was. But I think when you get to a point where like it feels like there's no way out. And the way I explain it, and this might not resonate with everyone, but like when you feel God's wrath, it's like you don't want to be disconnected from that again. So I always have that gratitude there. But I think just like if I read as many books as I do and I get exposure to as much as I do, I can sort of intertwine everything in one. And so yeah, I think it was 2024, 2023. I went to my auntie's house in Auckland one night, and she just took me through like a Bible reading, and I was like, maybe I should chuck this on TikTok. And I did, and I remember I got like, I don't know, 5,000 views or something. And I was like, this is cool. People are looking for this. And then I kind of just kept on going. And yeah, just whatever's on the mind, bro. I might be driving and a thought comes to me and I'm like, jot that down. You're going to make a video on that later.
Oh, cool.
Someone might need it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, awesome.
So it's a bit of everything, mindset, faith, whatever, man. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people actually don't know because we're so far removed from it. Whereas back in the days, it was, taught in school. And I remember those days. It's crazy to think, like, even just my partner, who's not that much younger, how watered down it became even for them. Like, it's slowly being removed. Like, I've never been religious, but I know a lot about religion. My dad was raised hardcore Catholic. He's one of 9. So I know a bit about it, but it's even, I think, success and a lot of the good virtues in life come from Christianity. And it's funny, my mate, we always talk about it, and then we always like sort of not joke, but we'll be like, well, that's in the Bible too, like it's a lot of principles. What's it? 12 lessons of life from Jordan Peterson.
12 rules, yeah.
12 rules of life, yeah. And like how that's sort of around that faith driven, and he kind of sort of alludes to it and kind of links them. And I feel like we are moving. It's a weird time right now. How do you feel about what's going on right now? Like, it's just,
yeah, man. I mean,
we've never been further away from, I guess, peace.
Yeah, like, I think with that, people are looking for something and they're asking questions. Sometimes life's got to nudge you in a certain way before you become curious of certain things. And yes, there has been a bit of a resurgence in people asking questions, which has been cool to see. Because I think people want something. People, at the end of the day, they're looking for the truth, and they can find that wherever they want. It just happens to be that this is where I found my truth, and I believe it to be the thing. But yeah, man, I'm grateful. I'm blessed. I wake up every day and I give thanks, man. Gratitude's a great place to start, and I've got plenty of that, man. So
yeah. Well, it's funny because I tell my mate that I was talking about before how much the things that I do, and he always says, like that's from the Bible too, like practice gratitude and all of that sort of stuff. And it is funny that he's trying to point it out to me because he's a Christian as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's trying to like Aaron. And I was just like, hey man, I'm doing my life. I'm a good person. I do good to others. I've never been brought up with it, so I can't. It's not something I can say against or with. I always say I love my Christian brothers. They're fucking some of the best people I know. Some of the people that don't have those virtuous followings behind them show it that they are kind of definitely needing it, if you know what I mean. There's some scumbag people in the world, and they're doing some bad things, and you can tell that they haven't had someone around them to show them right from wrong. And that's where I think religion is a good thing.
Yeah.
I definitely think, not to say that, I just think it can actually help. I've seen it physically help, like 3 of my mates that got hard out into drugs, and I didn't see them. Like, they were hard out into it, and I was like, okay, this guy's gone. I might never see that guy again. Then I'd see him like come across him at fucking chart wall, and then Brody comes back fully in, and he's just like, oh no, I found God. And I was just like, that's what's up. Like, even though I don't believe it, I'm just like, thank fuck.
Yeah.
Because you were going down the wrong path, mate.
Yeah.
So you had to go so far down that path that, you found him or whatever, and it brought you back. It's like, sweet, whatever it takes.
Yeah, it was interesting, because even before I was a believer, it's funny, it kind of annoyed me, but people that had success, they'd always be like, man, God was good, and I'd be like, what's this thing, bro? Like, but again, it's just that faith aspect. Like, having faith in something bigger than yourself can go a long way to leading you in the right direction.
Yeah, cool. Like, I'm not an expert in religion, but I like to actually talk about religion. I find it interesting. I like to actually talk to people about other religions too, and I find it very interesting, sort of the things that I can cherry pick from them and how they hold themselves. And it's a bit of a weird one. I don't know if I should get into it because my dad. My dad, he's one of the ones that gone against it. He didn't like I'll give you an example. Like, he didn't like the intentness, or what he would call the manipulation through forcing the kids into it. And he called it like brainwashing, and he didn't like that being forced upon him, and he kind of, I guess, rebelled. So it was kind of weird, like growing up having a hardcore Catholic family. So all my mum, my dad's side, one of 9. So meeting all of them, all of the cousins and stuff, and us not being it. Not that we weren't ill-mannered or anything like that, but some of the things that we did, like I remember getting checked on, like making fun of Dad, like don't speak to your father like that or something, like, and like Dad's just like, we just joking, like literally, like, but they were real serious.
Yeah.
And I think he says a few things that it's just like, it's an interesting for me. Whereas I would say I'm more religious than him, even though I'm not.
Yeah.
But he's just sort of like, I think he might have had it too hard when he was younger, and he kind of rebelled, I guess, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame, mate, because I think that's like with any religion, or even like you look at some parents who like, they try coach their kids hard out in sport or something, and they just don't want a bar of it by the time they leave home because they've just been drilled and drilled. And I think, like at least speaking to my story, is when you're in a situation where you're open and receptive to something, that's when it's powerful. Like if someone tried to force business acumen upon me when I wasn't looking, like, bro, get out of here, I'm just trying to enjoy my food. You know, so I think just that openness and timing's massive, Timing's massive for people.
Yeah, that's a good point, Like I think that's something that I think he might hold resentment for, was that they probably could have gone about a different route to get him, because all that, like their thing was all of the brothers and sisters, all a part of it as well, and him and his little sister, so the 2 youngest were kind of like not really with it. And I think maybe because maybe my grandparents were like, all of them did, why aren't you? And then hard on them sort of thing. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I didn't grow up in a religious family, so it's like that again is a whole other dynamic in itself. My dad grew up Catholic, but he's probably not practicing.
Yeah.
Mum's not really a believer, but then my dad's extended family, like for sure they're hard out. Mum's side's not. So it's a.
What's that dynamic been like?
Bro, interesting.
Do you just rocked up one day and go, found my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, people, pray with me?
I don't know, bro. So. Like, I remember as a kid, like I think the first time I went to church, like 5 minutes in, I'm like, Dad, when we leaving? Like, can we get out of here? And the second time and third time was like for funerals, so I didn't really know what it was really about. But same. I moved to the US, bro, and like I didn't have the liberty to speak on everything that I went through, but there was a situation where, like, I went over there with a good 5 figures in the bank account, and I was pretty much out of money. I was fearing for my freedom and fearing for where I was at, and it was just like I said, I felt like I had no way out. And for whatever reason, I brought a Bible with me, and I started reading, and I remember I said, "Oh, like God, if you get me back to New Zealand, I'll give my life to you." And a whole bunch of other stuff happened. But long story short, 3 weeks later, I was walking through customs at Auckland Airport, and it was just like, that was for me like a nail in the coffin. But I've never been like super open with my parents, but I'm just like, this is what I believe, and you see me pray before I eat and stuff. Like, this is where I'm at.
Awesome.
I just think of it like anything you do, if you can be a good example, people are going to ask questions and want to know why you're that way. And it's just an easy way to have a genuine conversation without, like you said, pushing things on people.
Yeah. How was the reception for, like, did you just tell them that as well? You're like, all right, sweet. I don't care what you think.
It was a slow burn, bro. It was a slow burn.
Okay.
Yeah, there's never been a real heavy conversation or anything, but I think just bit by bit they saw it, and then I'd be like, "Oh, Mum, Dad, I'm off to church," you know. And like Dad does go to church on Sundays, so you know he's still in the house. But yeah, like Mum's a different story.
He was going still, or when you started going, he's just like, "Right on, son, I'm with you."
Nah, so he was sort of going to church a bit more for community, like the Cook Island community and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so we sort of just tagged along, but like I wasn't really a believer. I just sort of went to church. And
that was the social thing to do.
Yeah. But I mean, like at the same
Spend
time,
time with family.
Yeah, but like Dad's story is Dad's story. I can't read his mind. I gotta know why he goes or what he believes in. But I love them both, bro.
Yeah.
Like, through and through. I'm not here without them. So
yeah, true. Yeah. And Mum's all good, eh? Like
bro. Mum, she's happy, bro. She's happy lady, man.
Is she still here?
Yeah. So they're both like my parents still live together here in Hamilton, and I still stay with family, man.
Oh,
like
cool.
if unless I relocated altogether, I don't really see myself.
So your mum and dad are still together?
Yeah, man. Yeah, married. Yeah.
And but you were the last one.
Yeah. So
for him, and then
yeah. So my mum's only child, but my dad's last. Yeah.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I got a question on here that I like to ask sort of people that come on the podcast. You don't have to answer, but
Go
it's
ahead, bro. Go ahead.
no. Well, it's just where do you see yourself in 5 years if everything goes to plan? I feel like you might even have an idea.
Yeah. I see.
Everything goes God willing.
Yeah, God willing, man.
Yeah.
For me, like big picture, I want to get a Cook Island Sevens team to the Olympics one day.
Oh,
I
cool.
don't know if I've told you, but that's like my massive big picture dream. So everything's kind of reverse engineering. Okay, where do I need to be? Blah blah blah. So 5 years time, bro, I'll probably see myself in Oz or New Zealand.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Sydney because it's the only place that does direct flights from Oz to the Cook Islands, and just sort of building up networks and whatnot to sort of get the ground running with getting the Cook Islands in a place where we can pay players and get players either to Rara or wherever we decide to base ourselves to start to get a program going.
Awesome.
And just having the passive income ticking over in the business space to where I don't have to work a job because I can't work a job and do what I want to do with the seven. So just that time freedom is massive for me. I'll be 28 by then.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice to think and go, yep, I'll have a wife by then. We'll be thinking of kids, you know. Yeah. But like you said, God willing, who knows where I'll be. But that's what I see for myself.
Like I think something that you could even add to that would be like that's your goal to be there maybe in 5 years, or at least the road is starting to get paved. I like to say to people, like, if you want to do such things like that, and you talked about having that passive income, like I feel like you can, if you want to become as successful as you possibly can, so you can pour from a full cup, because then even then you could even be the funder for it. You know what I mean? You could become that guy who is him. You know what I mean? That makes all of that money, and you're the guy that goes and fucking cash flows it. You go build the relationships, you know, something like that to add in, you know, sprinkle it into there, you know, like instead of just that passive income, you could be the one that fucking funds them there, bro. That's
the goal. That's the
that'd be
idea.
awesome.
Because I mean, like sponsorship and support, like 100%. If they've got a shared vision, then we can do that. But as soon as you get other hands in the pie, it's like, what's actually the agenda here? Whereas I know that, man, if I can just pump my own money into this, it's for the people, it's for the greater good and the big picture. So
awesome.
yeah, what you're saying is, that's where the mind's going, man.
But people will gravitate to that as well if they feel you, and then they show you, you show yourself through social media, putting in that mahi to actually head towards that. Right, you'll get support.
Yeah.
Sure, that's an admirable thing to fucking want. Selfless, you know, like you'll probably like, do you want to play yourself? Do you want to be?
That'd be mean. That'd be mean. But
are you willing to take a step to the side and actually bring the young ones through, or because it could take a while, you know?
Like it's not about me. So I'd love to play, bro. Out. I'd love to play.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Plus, I've got a big surgery coming up that I actually need doing on the foot, so I might not be able to play again, type of thing.
Competitively.
Yeah, or just to the level that I could be at. But I think grassroots is a great place to start, man, because that's where you can build those connections with players at a young age, and they come through and they have a lot of pride to play for their country versus stringing a bunch of blokes together in their mid-20s. They've got kids, they've got work, they've got, and it's just like a harder dynamic to work with. So both are doable, but yeah.
Well, it's quite cool to see how like far Fiji's come for their sevens. You know what I mean? Like that's awesome. You know, like what they're top dogs. You know, like and that they weren't that great. What, 20 years ago?
They were pretty.
Well, they've always been good, but I mean, they never broke through to for sevens.
Yeah, or like Olympic golds, bro.
Yeah,
like
golds.
They've got it now.
Yeah,
but yeah, one big thing I'm going to do too is document the whole process. So I want to make like a proper documentary and just focus on the players in the community, and like, bro, chuck it out there on YouTube or Netflix special or whatever it is, and there it is. There's what we did to get to the Olympics.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll follow the journey, bro.
I appreciate it, bro.
Well, everyone listening,
everyone's welcome, man. Everyone's welcome.
Exactly. So you're gonna, I believe in that. I truly believe in social media can be just the catalyst, and I feel like New Zealand is behind. I think I told you actually in the gym earlier. I feel like we even though I think I'm not very good at it, but I'm trying to get better, and I will only get better. You know, and if we put time into it now, I think we're behind where we can actually still be early adopters in New Zealand. There's still a few big hitters now, but if you think about it, like, there's just so much to the social media world. And like you said before, while you started, if you provide that value, you know, like, and you're willing to have that delayed gratification, you will probably get the following that will follow you for that, you know, instead of, I find it hard. I struggle with all of the fast moving, all of this sort of shit, and it can be fucking like draining. I'm trying to think long term, trying to build podcast style, proper followers, people that I can help in the long run, not just get rich quick fucking people.
Yeah.
And just leading by example. People can see me going through it, that sort of shit.
Yeah, and people want that honest story, eh? And I think people, they're attuned and they know when someone's not doing it for genuine reasons. And I think that reflects, and those guys, they're going to crumble long term. You know, like everything you've said is, I think, the right way to go about it. And I think people will see the value too.
Also, like, learning their skill set. It's a skill set as well, I find. And for me, I've always been good at having like really good relationships with people and building relationships through business and all of that. But then just going to one-on-one and trying to build that connection with someone without them there, that's my thing that I've struggled with the most. Just being candid, you know.
It took into a camera, right? So it's like, man, how can I get enthusiastic about it? But you just picture who's on the other side of this. Who am I adding value to? And I'm just like, man, let's go.
Yeah, hard out. Do you got any questions for me, bro? I think that's been a real good podcast.
Yeah, man. No, everything I throw out to you, really. I think. I'll throw it back to you. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years. So I would be 38. 38 G's.
Scary.
Unk. Already unk.
Yeah.
But I would like to think I've always had ambitions to move out of Hamilton. I'm born and raised here. I always told the other half, I said, no matter what, I want to get to somewhere in our business where I can just go away for a year, experience a different culture, whether it be Aussie or anything, just small, just for a year. I don't think I can class myself as successful if I haven't left my hometown in my own head. That's a thing that I've told myself. So I'd like to say that I would have had at least done a 1 year stint somewhere, whether I go over and have a working holiday over in Aussie, who knows, Bali, something like that, Thailand, do something different, and so that I can, I guess, confirm to myself that I was right. I knew that, you know, I made the right decision when I was younger to knuckle down and put off all of the other things that everyone was chasing in those younger years, going overseas, traveling, going to Europe. I went to Europe in 2022, did nothing for me. It made me tired.
What was it, do you reckon?
Well, I went and did it. I enjoyed it. Like, it's really sick. It's awesome. But I've always been like this. But I've always had everyone go, oh, you're going to regret not going when you're younger, yada, yada, yada. And now I'm sitting here, you know, I'm a multi-millionaire at my age, and I'm only going up. And I went to Europe to just confirm to myself, like I sort of want to do with this moving overseas sort of thing, is a reconfirming to myself, okay, you're not a person that's just like, oh, you could have left and became more, all of that sort of shit. Whereas for me, I'm almost like it's hard to leave here because I'm fucking soaring. And I love New Zealand and I believe in it, and I feel like if I leave, it's one of the ones that can actually help bring up New Zealand. And I'm going to be just like one of those other guys that fucking just throw in the towel. Oh, fuck it. It's harder in New Zealand. I'm going to leave, and I'm one of the good ones. So therefore, it will be a worse off place without me. That sort of mindset.
That's interesting, bro. I really like the way you think there.
Yeah, because like I feel, I don't know, like I know I could go over there and be swimming with the sharks, and it would probably make me amplify or whatever. But am I running away from my country? I love Kiwis. Every time I've traveled, I've been like, fuck, when I land back on the soil, because even the fucking Hories, mate, they still say, sup, bro?
Yeah.
You know, like over there, fuck, don't look at you. They all fucking give you the funny look. They're not Kiwis. And like, you understand growing up here, and only Kiwis understand. That's why they always fucking come back, because you can't explain it to others. And that's why I think that's where my mindset is for that. And I want to have my Mum will be retired. She's pretty close to that. I've got her close to that. I'm already in the middle of that. Working with my dad would be a cool one for me. I want to bring my dad into my development business and not have him working so hard building shit. He's going to be in retirement age, but I want him to be my my quality control manager. So someone who comes in and just tells people off and tells them to fix shit. You know, that's what I want for him. That's my own selfish thing. He might not tell me to get fucked. Well, you know, I will be his boss. Yeah. He struggles with that still.
Yeah. The plot thickens, eh?
Yeah.
The plot thickens.
But yeah, so that's sort of where I see myself. Lamborghini, yeah, I will have it.
Yeah. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, that's written in stone.
Yeah.
I already told you because we just bought a new car. That's our first ever treat we've ever given ourselves since we've been working hard. And I said, she's like, oh, what color do you want? I was like, you pick, because you don't get to pick one. My one.
Yeah. Speaking of, bro, I'm getting a new car tomorrow, actually.
Oh, no
yeah,
shit.
yeah. Also, old new car, but
Yep.
like, I'm looking forward to it, bro.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What are you getting?
It's a 04 Camry, but it's bro, those things are indestructible. They go forever.
A workhorse,
A
mate.
workhorse. I managed to, because I was looked at one at a dealership maybe almost a month ago, and it's going for like $6,000. Had pretty low mileage, I think 113,000 on the clock, and they wouldn't budge on price. I was trying, but yeah, hit up a guy and trade me in $2,400.
Privately owned.
Yeah,
Yep.
2,400. He said, yeah, it's deal.
Hey, you gonna flip it?
I was thinking about it, but like because of surgery coming up, I genuinely need an auto. I drive a manual at the moment, so I use it as a runaround. Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, like we're pretty happy. It's our first ever brand new car. I even told myself when I was young, I'm never buying a brand new car, but it comes with fucking 7 years, unlimited K's warranty. It's only $40,000. Like it's actually really cheap. It's one of those super hybrids.
Yeah.
And I was like, because of how busy our business is and the amount of kilometers and fuel that we fucking go through, I was like, okay, this is a justified purchase. It's a justified purchase. We get to claim all of it, the GST back and the 20%. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll give me a squiz when we go outside, but I didn't actually have a proper nosy when I drove in.
Yeah, no, it's in the garage, bro.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. Well, fuck, thanks for coming on, bro.
That's mean, bro.
That was mean, eh?
Awesome.
How'd you think? How'd you find it?
That's cool. Bro, keep doing your thing. Like,
Yeah.
people need this in New Zealand. Obviously, there's, what is it? Between two beers. Like, that's a pretty cool body.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
bro, like, keep getting people on. Spread the word. I only found out about this because of old mate Kane.
Yeah.
I met in the food court, bro, you
Yeah.
know? So,
Yeah.
that's how we wound up here. But keep doing it, man. Like, I really respect it.
Oh, thank you, bro. Like, and when I saw you, like, I've been hard on myself this year because it's fallen off this year entirely. But when I said it to you, and that's why I was like, fuck, I'm following through. I've already got another guy lined up. I'm going all in on it this year because I have freed myself up a little bit. I'm only one man. I can only do so much.
Yeah.
So, but now this is something I actually really want to do. And I love property and I would love to help people. So, yeah, I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah.
I will keep going.
Mean, bro.
Cheers, brother.
Mean. That's awesome.
Sweet.